What's going on, everybody? This is Alex Kirby with the Green Up Academy podcast. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking with business owner Jon Gibson of Gibson Lawn Care out in Michigan in United States of America. So if you're from overseas, it's a really cold place. He gets a lot of snow, but he also has beautiful weather during the spring and summertime. So Jon's one of my favorite people to talk to in a while because of his mission of his company. And I can't wait for you to see what he and his wife are all about, what his business's purpose is. It's very unique from most people who I talk to. So looking forward for you to hear from Jon directly about why he does what he does. I think it can be really refreshing for you as a business owner if you're kind of lost right now on what your mission is, what drives you, what helps you wake up in the morning. Jon will absolutely help you with that. So y'all check it out. Here's Jon Gibson with Gibson Lawn Care.
Welcome to the Green Up Academy podcast with Alex Kirby, where we focus on helping you level up your green industry business. Whether it's marketing, finance, employees, or strategy, we talk about everything on this show to help you apply it to your business and change your family and company's future for decades to come. Here's your host, Alex Kirby.
So Gib, I haven't got to talk to you that much about, tell me the story of you and why you started doing this and when you started doing it. Give me your origin story.
Yeah, because we haven't. So I'm not the typical started as a kid. Okay. I did it because we had a big lawn, yeah. But no, we had a rental property and I mowed that lawn and the neighbors. It was a large property and I was just doing it because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the time to myself, the thinking.
Talking about you and your wife had a rental property?
Yeah, but we owned the home and then it became a rental property. So It was large. And so I just kept doing the neighbors after we moved. And then our church has about 10 acres. They're like, hey, we need someone to do it. And I'm like, I'll do it. And they had the equipment. So I loved just 10 hours of being on a mower a week. It was just nice. And so right after COVID, the initial 2021, I was walking down my stairs. We have a multi-level house, and I was walking downstairs, and it's like the Lord said, it's time to go full time. And I'm like, huh. So I looked at my wife and I said, I need to do this. And she goes, yeah, I've been waiting for you to tell me. So I started small. The perk, as you've heard me say this, we're debt free. Personally, there's no debt personally. The business does carry some debt, but it allowed me to build it how I wanted to because the income also wasn't required.
There you go.
So I've been able to put my systems and everything in place and get everything set up properly. So as we have grown, all that stuff's ready to roll out. I just have to literally push a button and it goes.
So 2021, you went full time? Started the bit?
Yep, started full time. So I wouldn't say full time, but I started probably about 15 properties.
Yeah, okay. We'll call it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I worked a couple days a week on and off, whatever I wanted, kind of made.
Hey guys, thank you for listening to this episode of the Green Up Academy podcast. I'm excited to announce our first event that we're going to be doing while all of you guys are at Equip Expo through the Green Up Academy, called the Green Up Gathering. It's going to be on October 16th, which is Wednesday night while you're at Equip Expo. It's going to be at 6:30 to 10:30 p.m. at Main Event in Louisville, Kentucky. If you've never been to Main Event, think of it like Dave & Buster's on steroids. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to have amazing barbecue and food. We're going to have a keynote speech from me. We're going to be talking about your business moving forward in 2025 and things you can expect through us at the Green Up Academy. We're also going to be having unlimited games, unlimited arcade time, bowling, and just getting to hang out with all the people who you've met through the Green Up Academy, through the lawn and landscape industry in one place in a small setting. So it's only $60, guys. It's an amazing value. We're going to have giveaways from Ballard Products, Yeti, and much, much more. So we want you to come, and we're going to be announcing and launching this on August 12th, which is Monday night at 5 p.m. It's going to go live. And like I said, these 40 spots, we feel very confident they're going to fill fast. So make sure you do that. We're going to announce it on our Instagram, our Facebook, and through an email, and of course through our website at thegreenupacademy.com. So you guys make sure you're there. We're really excited. I can't wait to see you and meet you guys in person, those who I've talked to online for many, many years and a lot of time. So looking forward to it. Make sure you come to our Green Up gathering.
So, okay, Gib. So what did you do as a career before that? Talk about like, how did you get debt free how old are you?
I'm 39.
How did you get debt free before you were 40? What career did you do from 20 to 36?
Okay. So I worked for a church organization for several years. And then I moved back to Michigan. We were located in Missouri because they were going to Texas. Texas is too hot. Sorry, Levi, I'm not into that. So, so I moved back to Michigan, where I'm originally from. Moved back in the recession, 08, 09. Worked a maintenance job, kind of a dead-end job for a nursing home, to get by because I needed something. Met my wife. We got married in 2012. I was still doing that job. Then I started youth pastoring because that was so lucrative financially. I started subbing high school, and then my wife and I always knew we were going to do foster care. Well, for those that don't know about foster care, you almost have to be a stay-at-home parent for the amount of appointments that you have. So because of our financial situation, my wife did have a good career. We decided I would be the stay-at-home parent. So I was a stay-at-home parent doing foster care up until that point.
It's like 2014 to 2020.
Yeah. We had the rental house and stuff like that too. So I managed all that. Like I took care of all those things.
There's something to be said about a lot of people listening are probably like, stay-at-home parent. Come on, dude. That's silly because recently, as someone who has a 10-acre property and I don't have a rental property, it takes a lot to keep up. Like we are constantly having people over, like hiring people. My friend from church comes over one day a week and keeps the property up. He's coming over today. Like the amount of things you have to do to keep things up, especially just on that side. So just for people that don't understand, like having a couple of different locations or real estate opportunities, it's a lot. Number two, I want to sit on this foster care thing because I knew that you had jumped into that, but it's something super unique. And I think it's one of the most selfless things you can do is say, you're not my child, but I'm going to treat you as my own. And so what made you guys want to foster? Was it you guys were having trouble having children on your own? Was it?
No. So my brother did foster care for years. So that was my introduction to it. But my wife was a missionary to Africa, and she always wanted to do it when she was there. She worked for an organization called Children's Cup. She was the director of schools in Swaziland, Africa.
Wow.
So she did that for several years. And when we got together, it was never we're going to have our own kids. That was never even a thought. It's, I don't know if we can. I don't know if we can't. Like, it's never been like a thing. So we did foster care for several years. We adopted 3 of our 4 foster kids.
Oh my, I did not know that, dude.
So all our girls are adopted.
Wow.
The little boy we had, he was never up for adoption. He went back to his family. Unfortunately, I believe he's been in and out of the foster system still. He's probably, he's our middle girl's age, so he's 14 now. But yeah, so we did that. Then adopted the 2 oldest. They are biological siblings or sisters.
That's so cool, dude.
One is 20, one is 14. Then we have a little girl, Gabby. Yeah. She was at 8 days old, and we've had her ever since.
You're kidding me, dude. This is amazing. How old is Gabby?
Gabby is 7 now. She is in second. She just started 2nd grade this week.
I have chills right now, man. No, I'm serious because my wife is also passionate about adoption, foster care. We're actually having an event at church tonight. Are we not, Mac? We have an event at church tonight. We have a ministry at our church. Oh my gosh. If I didn't think about it, I could tell you, Because of Love, I believe it's called. and it is a foster and adoption ministry we just started because our church, we have a pretty big church, about 1,000 on Sundays.
Mhm.
It's not multi-campus or any of that. It's just like we just have a great church and large church, and we have so many people who have adopted in foster care. Like off the top of my head, I think I can name 20. Right, Mac? Like the Dices and the Henderson. I can name 20 without thinking, I think.
Mhm.
And the Shahans. And so to hear you say what they all talk about, which is like somehow keep siblings together if you can. They always talk about that, right? Because because if they're getting this, now you tell me where I'm wrong. Like I want you to educate me, but this is what my friends say. They say because they have the parents in you, they don't long as much for their parents, but
No.
that's not true at all.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Well, let me finish what I was saying, then you correct me. They say as long as they have a sibling, that if they can have the sibling in their home. So tell me, like, good, correct me. Tell me because I'm kind of ignorant to this. I've just talked to a couple of my guy friends.
Yeah.
What is like the hardest part and the most rewarding part of this entire journey? For the kids and for you.
Okay. Well, to put it blatantly, I can say this now because we're working on a healing process. We've been through hell with our oldest.
Okay.
So the hardest part is our oldest came to us at 10, and her longing for her family, even though her sister is in our home, it's her sister, she has like 6 or 7 other siblings.
Oh, wow.
Because, I mean, that's the function of it. Now, having the sister does help a little. I won't say that's completely false. It does help a little. However, the hardest part is knowing that I'm a foster parent. I mean, just being direct to that, someone can't raise their own kids for whatever circumstances. Some go into foster care because a parent dies or something like that. But honestly, just knowing that there's people that have to do this, that's the most heartbreaking. The most rewarding is that kid now gets a chance at a stable life.
Mm-hmm.
They have the opportunity. Now, whether they choose that's going to be their decision. But now, knowing that we were able to give someone a chance that didn't have a chance.
Well, it's the ultimate move of selflessness. I mean, and this is where I want to plug it back into business, is like you are opening I have had so we have 3 kids. You know this, I think. We have a 5-year-old, 3-year-old, 1-year-old. So they're all close together. It is a ruckus. But there is something about knowing that they were made from your DNA. I can't describe that. But we want to adopt really badly. We want to have one more child if the Lord will allow. We had a miscarriage a few weeks ago. And then we'd like to adopt, when we'd like to adopt a child down the road when they're already in that 6, 7, 8, 9 range, because as you know, those kids aren't as desirable to adopt as babies are.
Right.
And so that's something we've talked about, is adopting a child in the middle of our kids' ages and stuff. But so it's so selfless. It's so selfless because it's a I'm sure it's really hard mental thing to jump over at times when things aren't going well, and you're like, well, this is the DNA of this child, and she acts just like her DNA mother. Like, I'm sure
I
that's
say that about our kids. You act just like your mom, or my wife will say, you act just like your dad. Like, they inherit your traits.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's never really been a thing for us. Doesn't cross my mind because I knew what I was designed to do. But
I love that.
Tied into business, you're talking about your church is starting this program. So there's a program about 15 minutes from us. Had it not been for this program, we would have dropped out years ago. So what they do, they pay for therapy. They clean our house. They will fix cars. They do anything and everything. They drop off food all the time.
What's the ministry called?
It's called Clara's Hope.
Clara's Hope?
Yep. It's named after a daughter one of the family members adopted, and she died.
Okay.
So due to health situation.
I just want to send it to our pastors so they can see some examples of what the ministry could or should do.
Yeah, and we can talk off air. I can give you the director's number.
Very cool. Awesome.
Yeah, so what I do with my business, I've told you that we give 10% off the top away. They are a constant reception of that. They do a massive fundraiser in February, like a gala. We donate work and service to that.
Love it.
So that, and it's typically what happens. People buy it and say, give this to that foster family. Like, people come in like, I don't need it, but a foster family needs it. So go clean up their yard, do spring cleanup, do their snow removal for the year, do a year of mowing, whatever. There's another family, another guy I know, he donates to it as well. He owns a lawn care business.
So how has man, this is cool, Gib. So how has foster parenting affected the way you see the value of your business? So we talked about this on Monday night in our crew call, where I was explaining like how my desire for next year, the theme I'm going to unveil here in a couple months, about something along the lines of focusing on being a bit better business owner and not just making your business better, right? How has it made you just laser focused on being the best business owner you can be as a person, a businessman, and not the business itself, and how that naturally pours out, right? It's one of those things where, like, if you focus on being a godly man, you will be a great father, is the conception, right? So because I want people to listening, I know it's not as much about lawn mowing stuff today, which we don't normally talk about, that physical stuff, but I think it's so important to see the impact that you're able to make on people and things because of the way you focus on your business mission, if you will. So, like, just talk through that, and then we'll kind of move off this.
Yeah, that's a heavy question. So what it's made me do, the number one thing, I know how to meet people at their needs. It has made me recognize, for instance, when a customer comes out angry because of something, chances are they're not angry at me. Likelihood of that, something's going on. It's allowed me to sit and focus and be like, what is really the problem? It's allowed me to de-escalate in that. It's allowed me to have compassion and really be able to focus and say, how can we help this person? What can we do? How do we go above and beyond to make sure that this client, this customer, is taken care of, whether that's commercial, residential? What do we do? And then how do we take that and impact the community as well? Because we don't leave our zip code very often. We have a couple houses literally on the edge. So, we do that. But it's allowed us to, because I have amazing employees, and I've shared that. Like, my guys are top notch. Like, they just don't come better. And they see that vision and they buy in because they know who we are. One of the guys that works for me, he's been with me through that entire journey. We've been friends 15 years. He's watched every bit of this. He's watched my mental health deteriorate. He's watched me pick back up. So they see that. One of the guys that worked for me when we were youth pastoring was in the youth group for like a few weeks before they left, but we had been part of the church together. So they know me. That helps a lot. Helps them buy into the vision of understanding why this business exists, because a lot of people talk about wealth. I could quit my business today and it's fine. My family will be absolutely fine. I have no concern of that. But the goal of the business, to laser focus, is to really help people and to take that profit and those funds and just pour it back into to help people. And so that's been my biggest focus. My goal as a business owner is to see how big a check I can write to those organizations to help them out.
Amazing, dude. It's not a common thing.
No, it's not. And that's why I'm a different type of person, because I could build this, I could become rich. And I probably will be. I have no doubt about that. But And my wife is so on board with it. She's like, how much did you give away this month? That is my goal. It's how much can I give away?
I love that. You're just a passer througher. You're just a conduit of God's goodness. I love that, man. I love that. Okay, let me ask you a couple more questions before we wrap up.
Yeah.
I want you to, so one thing in your market, you're in Michigan, is snow, right? And you had a snow nightmare off season.
Yes.
Talk about how you prepare for all the guys in Texas and South Carolina and Florida who have no idea. And then for those who do relate to the snow crisis y'all had last off season, talk about how that affects your business, and talk about how you prepared for it so that you survived it.
So because I've been able to grow my business, unlike most people, I can be very strategic. It's not oh crap, I have to make money. It's this is the first year as having an employee, so I got to make sure he is taken care of. That is top priority of the business right now. Right now I'm good. We'll be fine. If I get no business, we'll be fine. I do not offer one-time plows. That is so listening to Corey talk about it a lot, Corey Ballard, getting those seasonal contracts. So they pay regardless. So all my residentials, it's a one-time fee beginning in November. You are covered the rest of the season. I base it off on amounts of snowfall, how much I would charge per push. It's a seasonal contract. That's the only way I can do it. I do have a couple commercials that are not seasonal, but they get salt. Salt's a huge markup. So that is the benefit. So one of the large commercials that we have, part of it, we talked about this on our grow thing the other night, but we talked about it as mowing. So with snow, I send a guy I visit that property once a week, whether we have snow or not. We're doing something because they're paying a chunk of money, but we're also on call 24/7 for 6 months.
Right. So that was a question I had. So you're saying for these residentials, they pay a fee at the beginning, and then when the snow falls, they pay more?
No. That covers them for the entire season. They are covered up to, I think I have it up to like 26 inches, which we haven't hit that amount of snowfall in a while. Anything above 26, I charge more.
So what's that number? Like $600?
Pending size of driveway, $500 to $600. Yeah.
And so they're out of that money if it doesn't snow.
Technically, yes. But again, I make sure they get their money's worth. We'll go visit property, do a little bit of work.
Do what though?
Like in spring, if we've had a light snow, but I haven't had one customer say that they haven't had issues. Everybody that has signed up has continued to sign up unless they've sold their home and moved.
So how many, so a bad snow year in Michigan, how many snowfalls did y'all have last winter?
We had 10 events where I pushed snow, but I had probably about 30 salting events.
Oh, so you're still going to get it even on a bad year.
Yeah, because you have to salt because the temperature is so low.
Just in case it freezes, right?
Freezes, yeah. But now, we don't salt residentials unless it's requested, and that is an added fee per event.
So doing the math though, so you're charging like $40-$50 a push for these residentials then?
Somewhere in there, yeah.
And it's like it takes like what, 5 minutes with your big plow?
If that.
Oh, okay, that's sick money. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just it's real simple. Yeah, it's I try and price in my market. Like I've done the math, and I've also had some of my customers that are friends call other companies and see what they charge.
Yeah, so I love that technique.
So I try not to be the most expensive, but I'm not going to be the cheapest because I know where I have to be. I'm not going to be this guy. Like you'll see people in these Facebook groups, $20, we'll come plow and salt. And I'm like, but you don't have insurance. If you hit a car or sideswipe their house or a mailbox, you're done.
I think I put this in the group chat. If for you guys that don't know, Gibby's in our crew, which is our cool group through the Green Up Academy. That's been such an awesome blessing. It's our community. But a company called me yesterday, and they didn't know I sold my company, but we got something cooking to maybe make it a franchise type thing for the next year. But they called me and they were like, it's a huge bid. But dude, like when I told them what it would take to just make like decent money, not even like the margin I like to make, but like a couple points under that, they were like, oh, that's 1.5 times. So I guess 1.5 times, let's say it was $100,000, 1.5 times would be is that 250 or is that 150? When someone says 1.5 times, I'm trying to figure out how much more that they're saying that is.
I would say 250, but
That's crazy.
Now you have me like, oh crap, is that right?
Because if they said 1.5 times, so that means that like, when I told them that like if they're telling me that this is what they're paying, that company is losing money, like making $0, like then they were like, okay, we'll get back to you. Like, it's like I bid this a few years ago, and I'm gonna see if he emailed me this morning. I just can't believe what some of these people charge, like you're talking about here. It's like,
yeah, I've seen a couple bids for some. There's a school district I bid for a while back. What I priced it per visit, because they had, I think, 26 properties. What I priced it per visit, that guy was doing what I charged for one property for an entire week.
It's crazy. So
I think I had it at like 15 a week, and this guy was charging like $2,000 a week.
Oh my god!
And it's 23 properties. It would have been a full crew, 40 hours a week, 2-man crew, 40 hours a week easily.
I bid a school district one time. It was pretty extensive, and I was confused on how they don't like. I just don't know how people like, because I'm a numbers guy, as you know, and I know you are too. So when I look at it, I know they can't make money.
Yeah.
So it's like, what could you possibly think? And next thing you know, they do it for a year and they lose money, and their business is in jeopardy, right?
Business in jeopardy, or they've been fired from the contract, or they're already looking for a new bid. Which
that's the one I see a lot, is that a guy knows he's not going to get it for more than a year, so he basically, as soon as he gets the contract, like cuts corners to make the money he was trying to make, and then it's a nightmare year for the company, for the district or whatever, whoever hired him. And so that's why I try to tell him you should always sign 2-year contracts. That way you can have consistency. I like 2-year contracts with big sites so that you don't have to do this song and dance every 9 months, Yeah. So annoying. All right, Gib, let me ask you one more question.
All right.
What's the one thing for someone listening, like your message to the industry? Like, what's the thing you want? If you had a room of 400 people listening to you talk right now, which is our podcast is 400 to 600 people every episode, what would you say?
Well, you just asked an introvert a question on the spot. So
what do you want them to know? What's your message? What do you, integrity, work ethic, what?
I think the bottom line is you just always need to do the right thing. Even when it hurts, even when it sucks, even when that customer is a jerk, always do the right thing. Do the right thing, and it just works. It just, because I've taken several hits financially from customers, but it always ends up benefiting in the end, because they see how you are. They say, you know what, you do the right thing all the time. You're a person of integrity. And it changes relationships and helps build the relationship with the customer or just people in general. And it bothers me how much of this industry is just, well, I can get Billy Bob down the street to do it.
Transactional.
Yeah. It's transactional.
Yeah.
That is something I wish we could change, is people need to understand the people we hire, we value them, we want them to be successful. They can't be valued and successful if I'm just the dude charging the dirtiest, cheapest amount there is. I have to be able to provide for my employees, and that's why we are more expensive.
Well, it's always been. I mean, I understand, right? We all want to save money, but something that I've learned over the last few years, if I get a quote from someone for $50 and a quote for $70, that $20 might cost me a lot more in frustration, stress, things being broken, them not coming when they say they're going to come, right? Like, there is something to say about hiring the company that that you're not going to have. Like us at Trifecta, we had automatic text, hey, we're on the way.
Yeah.
We leave a note at the door. We take pictures, and we don't. It's so the process and the experience is so much better. I mean, I'm that way with dinner, right? Like, I wish people would think about it with food, because sure, there's fast food, but like, if you want a good meal and you want to know it's good food, good experience, you're going to pay a little bit more. And so
I heard on a
podcast
with Donald Miller, I've told you about that. It's Business Made Simple.
Yeah.
One of the guests he was interviewing, and I wrote it down. You're either going to pay for the consequences one way or another. You're going to pay for the cheap guy, and it's going to cost you the headache. Or you're going to pay for the more expensive guy and not have the headache, but it's going to cost your wallet. What experience, what consequence do you want?
That's good.
And
I love that.
Yeah, that was when I heard that, and I'm pretty sure I misquoted it, but you get the idea of it. It's you pay for the consequences regardless of negative or positive.
I love that. Well, Gibby, this has been great, man. I thank you so much for coming on. And guys, this has been Jon Gibson with Gibson Lawn Care. He's a part of our crew, and he's a great guy living in Michigan. He'll be you're going to be at Equip?
No, we've discussed this.
I forgot.
It's my anniversary, man. We go away.
Oh yeah. I would do the same.
What is Equip? Everyone talks about.
Yeah. What is Equip? I know.
Never heard of that before.
Never been there. What is it? Anyways, so he will not be at Equip, but you can reach out to him. Gibby, can you plug like an email where people can reach out to you?
Yeah, Gibson Lawn Care LLC at gmail.com. We also have Instagram and Facebook, Gibson Lawn Care GB. The GB is grand blank to make it easier for you.
Perfect.
There are other Gibson Lawn Cares in the Carolinas. We are not them. I've answered the phone for them several times, but we will not show up.
He's sending an invoice, Gibson Lawn Care in the Carolinas. He's sending an invoice. Anyways, Gibby, thanks so much, buddy. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, man.